right, well, good morning or afternoon or whatever time of day it is. I'm Christopher Brannon with the Coeur d'Alene Public Library and the Cooperative Information Network.
I'm George Williams at Northeast Kansas Library System. And happy Thursday or Friday, maybe, who knows what day this will come out. Should be Thursday, might be Friday. We shoot for Thursday.
Yes. So today on our training video, we are going to talk a little bit about blocking checkouts. Koha really has its own rules. It can block checkouts in general, but there are certain circumstances where you might want to block checkouts altogether, not give certain types of patrons the ability to check out or certain conditions. And so what we're going to do today is I'm going to show you a little bit of what I've done on our site, and George is going to show some things that he has done on his site, and hopefully it'll inspire you to help the workflow at your library and be able to catch some things that you haven't been able to catch before.
Yeah. You know, the big issue here is, and I'm looking for the system preference. There's a system preference. Well, there's a whole bunch of them for overrides. Mm-hmm. And the issue is that we have is that those overrides are, you know, there's all fines need override, allow fine override, allow not for loan override, allow renewal limit override, and now renewal on hold override, allow too many override. There's just a whole bunch of overrides. And the thing is that, you know, Christopher and I are both in situations where I have over 50 libraries. You have how many libraries in CIN?
27. 27.
And so there are a lot of situations where if anybody needs any kind of an override, it has to be turned on system-wide. But there are some times when you only want an override to be available in at certain libraries or in certain situations. And so this is, you know, Koha was really designed for, there are a lot of parts of Koha that were designed for single libraries with only one location. And when you start throwing in, you know, I've got 52 different libraries with about 48 different sets of policies. And so having a one-size-fits-all system preference means that there are times when some library isn't going to be happy. And this is our effort to make libraries happy.
Absolutely. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and share my screen first. And you should be seeing
it's the koha-US website.
koha-US website, who hosts our videos. And yeah. As always, you can get to our videos on the Learn tab and scroll down to watch koha-US original training videos. And I would just like to throw in, you know, I threw this in at the end of the last video, but I would like to just throw a suggestion out to those viewers that like to watch our videos. We would always welcome feedback on our videos, whether it's requests for particular topics or just comments or questions, or even if you just watch the video, if you could on YouTube, when you watch it, throw in a like or a comment. We would love to hear from you and hear what you've done with some of the trainings that we've thrown out there. So, but you know, again, we're just going off of our ideas of what to put in videos, and we would love to be able to provide things that you might want. So please, by all means, comment, send us email, chat us up in Slack, whatever floats your boat. But yeah, please reach out to us in one way or another. Let us know that you're watching or that you would like to see something.
Yeah, if you leave comments, that's a good way to get in touch with us. And if you want to send an email, education@koha-us.org, it'd be a good place to send an email to.
Absolutely. All right. I'm going to switch over to our server that we have. I've got a test patron up here, and this patron is set right now as a regular adult patron, and this patron is allowed to check out. You've got a normal barcode field here to do checking out. What we have set up in our system is, you know, if this was a self registered, yeah, I can't even say it. If this was registered patron, or we have a category for e-only, where we have patrons that just do online stuff and they don't want to check out at all. All they want is online stuff. We have a category for that. We want to be able to block checkouts for those particular patrons. So if I go in here and edit this one, I'm going to change this one over to, I can't change it to a self-checkout because I have it set up so you can't, well, let's see here. Yeah, I have it set up so you can't even set that particular category, because why would you be starting a new patron as a self-registration? Right. So I can do the adult e-resource only. Let's save that. And when I do, this message pops up in place of that barcode field saying that they cannot check out. This patron category cannot check out items. So it blocks it altogether.
Right.
So basically we're disabling checkout for special accounts. This is purely just disable. And what it's looking at is on the circulation page, it is looking for patron category that contains either for self-registration or e-only for our other category. And on this line here, if it contains self or e-only, it's going to color that category red.
Right.
Then it's going to, on the main form, it's going to replace the main form where it has that barcode. It's replacing that whole section, and it's putting in this code in here that says cannot check out, this patron category cannot check out items. And it's that simple.
Right. That's really simple. The situation I have is similar, but just a little bit different, because what we have is we have two libraries that issue digital only cards to borrowers. And one of them, there's no exception. If you get the digital only card, that's it. You don't check out anything. And the other library, if you get the digital only card, you're still allowed to check out laptops, and they have all their headphones, have a barcode on them. So if you don't have your own headphones and you go into the library and you want to borrow a pair of headphones, you go up to the desk and they check them out to you. And so these people that have the digital only cards, there are 2 exceptions at one library, and then there are 0 exceptions at the other libraries. So I had to come up with something that allows for those exceptions. So this is what I've got. I already have a digital only patron. So I've got one of my patrons, Sean Frosty, and all of the digital only patrons. I've got several of these categories, but they all contain the words digital only in there. But what happens is, if the problem comes up with when these patrons go to a different library, a lot of times what happens in these situations is the parent creates a card for their child, and they say, I want them to be able to check out the digital items, but I don't want them to be able to go to a library and borrow books or movies or whatever, because they don't want them, because they know the kid's going to lose them and they're going to have a fine or whatever.
A lot of faith.
So, yeah, well, parents have great faith in their kids. I'm happy for them to check out things. If they're going to lose them, I'm happy to pay for them. But some parents don't want that. So what happens is if we go to check this thing out, maybe I should use a different barcode scanner, because I seem to have messed this one up with our programming with other things. Might be an issue, it might be a different issue with that barcode scanner. But what we get is this please confirm checkout. And this is where staff have the ability to override. And so I've got certain situations where I want staff, I don't want staff, I can't make the checkout box completely disappear, because there's sometimes at the one library, at Leavenworth Public Library, where they actually do need to check things out. So instead, I'm working at this in a different way. Let me go back to, let me say no and show you the code I've got. What I've got, and I'll just put this up here. So the first thing I've got is I'm looking for the page circulation, because that page has an ID tag on it. So every time I go to circulation, it's going to look to see if the patron category over here has the word digital in it.
Okay.
And if it does, it's going to execute this code, which the first line is, well, it's going to do two. If it does, then it's also going to look to see if that circ needs confirmation modal comes up. So all of that override information is in a little modal window that pops up, or in a little section that pops up. And the ID on that section is called circ needs confirmation. So if those two things are there, if the category is digital and if circ needs confirmation pops up, then it's going to execute this code. And so let me, well, first let me save this. And then we'll go back to checkout. So if I check this out now, the code I've got there is going to make an alert window pop up. And that's something we've never done a video about, is how to make the alert windows pop up. But it's highlighting the patron's category, it's putting a note in there, and I'm disabling the button. So that's the first line, puts that pink background over here on adult digital only, and it wraps that element with H2 to make it bigger, to make it stand out.
Okay.
And then the second part disables the button. So even if I click that and make it go away, if I click yes, check out, I can't. It's not gonna let anybody check that out.
Right. So
and then
you didn't take that away because, as you said, you want to be able to modify it so that some libraries would have the option to be able to.
Well, the library that lets people check out headphones and laptops, their circ rules allow for that. That's why I can't make the whole checkout window go away. If I was at Leavenworth Public Library and I tried to check out something the patron is allowed to check out, then this whole window isn't going to appear. But I didn't want to make the button disappear completely. I just wanted to disable it so that people will try and click on it. And I wanted to highlight that, you know, there's this big thing underneath that says you can't check out items. And my goal originally, I think the reason I didn't make the button disappear completely is I was hoping that I could change the click element on it so that that alert would pop up again, encouraging them to read the instructions that they've been given. So that's the second line disables the button. And then the third line adds that text underneath here that says you cannot check out physical items to a digital only borrower category. And then finally, this last line is the alert, which we've never done a video about alerts, but I use them in a couple of places, and it's a pretty simple JavaScript thing to do. Is you have a click element or an event that happens, and then you the alert syntax is alert, and then you put the text that you want to appear in the alert, into parentheses. So it's pretty simple to do. You can't really style the text or do anything fancy with it, but just having it pop up, it's a barrier, because, you know, I want people to know that they're doing something that they're not supposed to be able to do. And so I've got that barrier pops up that prevents them from doing anything else.
Okay.
So that's just an alternative way to do exactly what you were doing. But to prevent people from checking things out, my next goal in this is I'm gonna post an instructions sheet, and I'll have a link in here that'll actually, when people have questions about it, instead of asking me, they can click on the link and it will show them what they're doing wrong. So that's just a different way of doing it, which I have to have a different way of doing it because I can't just completely disable that box like you did. So.
All right.
So 2 different ways to handle a similar problem.
Yeah. So, you know, if you want to be able to disable your checkouts or, you know, cripple it in some way, these are both very good methods of doing that. Different approaches, but both very effective. So yeah,
and there's all kinds of ways I can think of to modify this. You could modify it to work for some libraries, but not others.
Mm-hmm.
You could even modify yours to do that too, so that some libraries, there Absolutely. Would be exceptions. So
yeah, basically, if I were going to do that, and we've shown this to some degree in previous videos, but if I were going to do that, I would be looking for this section up here. If we look at the codes, we can look at, like, for example, I could look for a specific username, or I could look for
you can see the logged in library code up there. You can see the logged in library name. You can see the usernames of the people that are logged in. So
yeah, so I could look for this code and say, you know, these are the exceptions. Don't do this if it equals that value, or if it's in a group of values. So yeah, there are different ways to do that for specific libraries or not for specific libraries. So whatever floats your boat, whatever you need at your particular library or consortium.
You can make it as flexible as you need it to be.
Yeah. All right. Well, George, thank you for sharing your code, and we'll have those.
I'll make sure it's posted up on the wiki before the video goes out.
And then we'll have those links underneath the video on the Learn page where the video is posted, and we'd love to share that stuff. And again, if you like this video or you have some comments about it, please like the video on YouTube, post comments, or contact us in some way and let us know if there's a topic that you would like to learn about. We've got a good idea for a video for in 2 weeks, so I'm not going to say what it is because who knows, we might change it before then, but we have some good upcoming videos, so we will see you again in 2 weeks.
See you later.